What is going on, Viall file listeners? We don't really. Do we have a nickname? Filers?
Violators.
Vi-Fis? Ugh, violators. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening.
Well, someone said the Viall High Club.
Ooh, the Viall High Club. Fuck, I'm so confused. Why I really fucked ourselves when we named this.
I like the Wi-Fi's. Like Wi-Fi.
Whatever, guys. Thanks for listening. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. And if it's not Wednesday, thanks for finally getting around to us as always. Very exciting episode this today. Wow, I've had too much coffee this morning. Mr. Drew Scott and his adorable and loving, charming wife, Linda, join us on the episode.
You might know him from the Property Brothers.
You might know him from the Property Brothers. These guys are a big deal.
My mom has never been more excited about anything I've ever done.
They're such a fascinating pair for so many reasons, but it was really fun getting to know Drew and his wife, and he's talking about their life, their business. They're very impressive people, very interesting and very charming. And certainly when you meet them, there's no secret and surprise of the success that they've had. It's really fascinating.
Would you ever want to work like with your wife? That's
the thing, and we talk a little bit about that. Linda and Drew are obviously married, and they work together, and she's part of the kind of the family business, and they're doing more and more projects together. It's a challenge to work with your significant other.
I don't know.
Sometimes you need some free time.
Yeah.
But we talk about a little bit about that and how it works for them and some things they do, and just a fun conversation with them. And I really enjoyed them taking the time. So I think you will enjoy that. Didn't something happen in the
Crystal and...
Oh, the first bachelor divorce.
Well, it's not officially a divorce. It's just a separation right now.
Oh, it is it? They're not divorced.
We're talking about Crystal.
Have they left the door open for a rekindling?
It kind of sounded like that from Crystal's Instagram, but he moved away. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know them at all.
You don't know them at all?
I've met them a few times, but I don't know them well enough to have an opinion about their relationship.
Yeah, they're doing a conscious separation.
What the hell is that?
In quotes. I think it's similar to what
they broke
it's
up.
Like a goop thing.
They're getting divorced.
You think?
Yeah. What it is the first step to a divorce.
Chris is moving to Florida, and she's still in San Diego.
Okay, so they're getting divorced. It's the first up until this point. They had this track record of a lot of failed engagements.
Yeah.
But no separation
D word.
after marriage. And they broke the seal.
Do you think now that they've broken the seal, more couples will do it?
No. I mean, listen, I don't know. Again, Chris and Crystal, it seemed to be rushed, if you will.
Okay.
Quite honestly, it's kind of fascinating. I mean, like Jade and Tanner were like the last couple to, get engaged and get married that quickly.
Yeah.
Which was at the time seemed like kind of an insane thing. Obviously, they've seemed to be doing great and working out. And
but you at the time were like, "Wow, this seems fast." You knew that.
I think they were like,
okay.
Looking back, you asked them, they were kind of like, "Wow." They're probably surprised it's worked out as well as it has. I mean, they clearly loved each other, but in that world, it all happened so fast.
Is it because of The Bachelor they have to get ready that fast because they want to film it?
They probably had an opportunity. They were probably presented. They had this. It was like the big 20-year season with Bet, and they wanted to do something big, and they wanted to have a wedding. So it's like I think they gave Jade and Tanner like the opportunity to do this, and I think they kind of said, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, it was a great wedding, and they have a great relationship, and they're dear friends. But my guess is at the time they were like, wow, this is kind of insane. They're just kind of going with it, right?
Yeah.
And so, I guess bummer for Bruce and Crystal. I wish them the best. Conscious breakup.
Conscious separation.
I don't know what that means.
It's what we do now.
Because what? Before you had a separation and you were unaware?
I guess it's just like they're trying to do it in a very intentional, loving way instead of like a spiteful.
Yeah, my guess is it's probably like any other breakup. And there's a lot of resentment on one end.
Yeah, I hope not.
Listen, that's okay. I mean, life happens.
Yeah.
Anyways, we wish them the very best.
Yes.
And I hope that they're that this is the best decision for both of them. And in a good 6 to 12 months, I hope they look back and think whatever decisions they made, they're better off for it.
Yeah.
Should we get to Drew and Linda?
Yeah.
Great. Well, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to send your questions at asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K. I really hope you enjoy this episode. Next week, we have the Lady Gang joining us. What a fun and lovely bunch of women
Oh my God, I laughed
are.
so hard.
And then also, don't forget to join us on Mondays for Ask Nick. Anything else while we're at it?
No.
Again, always thanks for obviously listening, guys. Thanks for spreading the word. We couldn't do this without you. We really appreciate it. We know that you have a lot of content to put out there, and taking the time to share the world. Our podcast is something we really appreciate. So without further ado, Linda and Drew Scott. Helix mattress from our friends at Helix Sleep, new friends of show. I'm actually super excited about getting my new mattress. I ordered one, and a very easy but very detailed process of shopping for the right mattress that was right for me. I went online. I gave them some basic information about myself, my height, my weight, guy, girl, my sleeping habits, and then bam, recommendation.
It was a quiz. Everybody loves a quiz.
Took a quiz. I have the midnight mattress coming my way.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. Very excited about it. I'm overdue for a new mattress.
Yeah.
And I've heard many great things from some of my friends who've been sleeping on a Helix. So I cannot wait.
So you were the medium firmness, right?
Medium.
And you sleep on your side?
I am a side sleeper.
So that's why you got what you got. What I like about Helix is they use really high quality foam and springs in all of their mattresses. More than other brands.
I just like the medium because I like a little firmness too. A little, not too hard, not too soft.
Yeah.
And then also, let's be honest, like sometimes you do things on bed other than sleep. You have a little sex. And you don't want it to be too soft. You need some resistance.
Yes.
Right? So, I think that for me, I'm just saying that's why I got the mattress I got. And I feel like it's going to accommodate all my needs in the bed.
I have less needs like that, but good night's sleep is definitely high on my list.
And they were awarded the #1 best overall mattress of 2019 and 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine, 2 publications I can get behind. No, seriously, I love those. I've heard great things, not only from GQ and Wired, but also from, firsthand from a lot of my friends. I have one coming my way.
So excited.
Actually, I should be, by the time you're listening to this, I will probably be sleeping on my new Helix mattress. I cannot wait. In the meantime, if you are looking for a mattress, go check out helixsleep.com/VIALL. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz. I mean, it's only 2 minutes to improve the rest of your life. And they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders for our listeners at helixsleep.com/VIALL. That's helixsleep.com/VIALL for up to $200 off. BetterHelp. Love BetterHelp, people. A lot of our friends of the show are fun and they can help in a bunch of different ways, but sometimes we have to break down the barriers of making sure we have the proper mental health, and finding the right therapist or a healthcare professional that can help us with our mental health is sometimes hard to find, or it's discouraging, or a mental hurdle we have to get over. And BetterHelp is making it easier for our audience. You can get connected with a professional therapist that's right for your needs. If you happen to not be a huge fan of the one they sign you up with, you can always change. A lot of flexibility. The point is, it makes it very easy to kind of jump over that hurdle or break down that barrier that you might have been struggling with, wondering if maybe I should talk to a healthcare professional for my mental health. So huge believer in it. I have friends who have used it. I've recommended it to them. They've thanked me immensely for trying it. You can do it all out of the comfort of your home. And it's making that so much easier. But best of all, it's truly affordable. The Viall File listeners get 10% off their first month with discount code VIALL. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/VIALL. Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor you'll love. And again, you can always switch. That's betterhelp.com/VIALL. Drew and Linda Scott, thank you for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. I forgot to tell you, I go by Linda's last name, so it's Linda and Drew Phan.
Very 2020 of
Yes.
I go by Drew's middle name, Alfred.
I don't tell people that. I was Batman's butler.
you. Drew from the Property Brothers. We figured we'd only have the good-looking brother come.
Oh.
You know, I knew
Where's
you were my
JD?
favorite. Yeah. Hey, whoa. Yeah, we actually find it was funny. We did like People Magazine just had us on the cover, and I always make fun that Jonathan and I together make one like sexiest person when they have us on the sexiest list, because on my own I can't do that. So they'll use like his smile or his hair. They'll use like my ass.
Just kind of combine it together.
And
Yeah.
your thumb.
Jonathan wanted to
That might
come on, but it's like we only allow really handsome people on. So then we asked Linda to join us.
Yeah, and I'm just her side piece. But, you know,
I wanted to get to know Linda more because I feel like you try to take all the attention from this loving couple, and everyone wants to know more about the better half of the Property Brothers.
no one cares about me. I'm leaving.
I'm the lower half. I hold him on my shoulders.
You're the sexier half.
But thanks for coming, guys. I'm really excited to have you and chat a little bit. You guys you're so busy. We were talking a little bit before about all the things you and Jonathan have coming on, and then you and Linda have your podcast out. So thanks for taking the time.
Of course. I mean, we love just sitting down and chatting with awesome peeps, and we kind of see each other in passing all the time. Random places, like was it the Comedy Club? Was the last time?
Comedy Club, where I attempted pitiful stand-up.
Oh, I'm sure it was no better than ours. I mean, I'm sure we were no better than yours. We were sad on
Mine did not go particularly well.
I don't think it was supposed to go well.
No.
That's what I told him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the fun of it.
I didn't one of my earpieces didn't work. So then I'm doing this the whole time, like trying to lean in, thinking I'm going to hear it better, and then
It looks like you have
Then you literally look like you have Tourette's on stage.
And so I tried repeating it, but it was a lot of fun. So we talked there, and then we ran into each other.
Dancing with the
Stars.
You said I was your favorite dancer, right? I think that's what I remember hearing.
I will say I did. I attended the episode where you and Jonathan came out together.
Oh, right. That was fun.
And I gotta say, I was impressed. I mean,
thank you.
No bullshit. Is that I remember, when I was on it, I wish I could do it again because I got so nervous. And you guys are so good at just having fun with whatever it is you're doing. And I remember watching it, and I thought to myself, these guys are having fun.
It's funny I was a little nervous the first time I went up, but I don't typically get nervous. I mean, I've done a lot in front of people before on stage and stuff like that, but dancing was a new thing to me, and I had never done any dancing before. I did one drop-in hip-hop class, and so I was getting into the groove. I was getting a little more coordinated, but I was still a tall, skinny guy, tall white guy dancing. And I was not as coordinated as Jordan Fisher and Lindsey Sterling. But then I said to Jonathan, they're really interested in having you on the show. Want to come do a dance? And I taught him, or my partner Emma taught him the first however many steps. And Jonathan was super nervous. And we did it really slow so he could get it. And he's like, I don't know if I can handle all these moves. And Emma was like, that's only the first quarter of what you're going to be doing, and you'll be doing it 3 times faster.
Yeah.
And so when he got out there, he crushed it. And then at the very end, they do the recap, and they bring all the best dances. They want them done again. And so Jonathan thought this hell was over. He didn't have to do it again. And then I'm like, the producers want to bring you back.
Did he have more fun the second time, though?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. He definitely did, because it was already sort of in the system a bit. But, we memorize very fast. I mean, it's just we've always been good at that. It's the flair, the finishing moves, the tilt of the wrist and whatever. I sucked at that. So in the end, I looked very stilted, but I knew every move.
Yeah. I thought it was really great.
You looked good when you were out there.
I did okay. I think I did. I think I had the benefit of, and maybe you felt the same way, as people don't expect a lot from white guys
If you're over 6'2", they don't expect
right. They just that's very low expectations.
Done enough.
And so I'm a decent enough dancer where it was like, he's not awful, and so I think I beat expectations.
Did any of the judges have it out for you? Like Len had it out for me.
They were okay with me. I definitely knew I wasn't one of their favorites, and they knew I wanted to do well, and they knew I was nervous, and they smelled blood.
They smell your fear.
Julianne was kind to me. And Bruno loved me. I mean,
Yeah.
Bruno, I think.
You were sexy.
Yeah.
If I go now and I see Bruno, and I'm usually in the front row, and I'll in between commercial break, we'll blow each other kisses.
Whoa, I'm glad you finished that sentence.
Kisses.
Nick,
Kisses.
love your dance. Your dance. Actually, I will say I loved Bruno when I was there too because they all have their characters they need to play. All the judges. We didn't have Julianne. I think she came once as a guest.
Yes.
But Bruno actually came off camera at one point and he gave me just a bit of advice about loosening up a little bit and just enjoying the experience, and it'll come through a little more. And I'm very analytical, and so it's funny in the first bunch of dances, you really see in my face like I'm making this resting bitch face.
We were the same.
Yeah, and so I loosened up a little bit. It got better, but they had a thing for Frankie Muniz. Like he's an awesome guy, but there was one dance I remember my partner and I were watching, and Frankie, I can't remember if it was he fell or he just stopped on stage. They totally forgot. He even admitted he totally forgot everything, but they still two of them gave him 10s. I'm like, what do I have to do to get a 10? Because I've been crushing it, I thought. And then I look back afterwards, I'm like, no, I still look like a tall white guy.
Doing long division in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I struggle with that too. I'm analytical, and yes, it was very much, I couldn't just dance. I was thinking about the steps.
But Linda learned everything while I was dancing too.
Did you make
him? I
him?
tried to learn everything, but yeah, I made him practice whenever he was not with Emma.
It was tough. Like we were filming 3 of my shows at the same time. One in LA and then 2 in Toronto. So what I would have to do is Emma was on the road with me, and then we had our book tour that we were doing for part of the show too. So we were so friggin' busy. I would fly in, do the live show, and then I would red eye right after the flight out again. So I was only getting, for about that 11 weeks, I was getting about 4 to 5 hours sleep, filming all day, dancing 4 to 5 hours a day. I lost 34 pounds.
Whoa.
It was scary. He was disappearing.
That's not good.
On set, I was so exhausted I couldn't even stand up. Like they had one of our PAs had a chair, and so we're walking around like doing a house tour. I'm like, oh, look at this kitchen. We could do this. We could do that. And then like, okay, cut. And then I literally would collapse into the chair. I had no energy at all.
Oh my
So
gosh.
if I wasn't doing anything else, I would come back for like the all-star version. But if I was filming anything else, I wouldn't want to do it.
Do you ever get jealous of him like dancing with Emma? I always wonder how that feels.
No, honestly, the Dancing with the Stars family is
They're great.
really a
Yeah.
family. And there was never any hesitation there. I was just so excited for him to dance and have so much fun. And Drew was talking about never being nervous, or not really ever being nervous. And I wanted him to be nervous because it's such a huge thing.
You don't get nervous?
He hardly.
Not a lot. Every now and then, like if it's the first time, like I remember the very first dance on Dance, it's the first time I've ever danced like a full routine,
Yeah.
and so I was a little nervous.
So
but
when you are nervous, I get really excited for you because it means you're doing something.
it means I'm
new.
human.
Yeah.
She sees human emotion in
I'm
me.
like, why are you not nervous?
I'm not
so
dating
nervous.
a sociopath.
Yeah.
Married to one.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
But you know, when I first applied for the like Dancing with the Stars, wanted both Jonathan and me to come on the show, and they kept asking us for like 6 seasons or something like that. And John, they were like, well, we both shouldn't do it because we're dividing our audience. They're gonna either go for you or me, so just
So
one of us.
analytical.
And then, but anyway,
Smart.
I was the one who had more availability to do it there. But my one concern, Linda and I were about to get married just shortly after the show. And my thought is, I'm like, is this one of those shows where the producers try to create drama? Oh, is Drew sleeping with his dancer or whatever else? And I'm like, Linda and I are
They're
so...
not even sleeping. They're dancing.
No, we're dancing, yeah. But we're not dramatic people. Like, we're so chill. And that was my big concern. But it turns out, like, they are amazing. The producers, they literally want everyone who's there to have the best experience. And they even were asking, who would you want to dance with? Emma was our favorite because we've watched the show for years. And she's so funny and just down to earth. And her now husband was one of the dancers too, Sasha. So he gave me tips because he was in the troupe at that time. He didn't have his own partner. And then so I got his perspective, I got hers. And so it was actually pretty
And
great
they
for me.
actually choreographed our first dance.
Oh, for our wedding. So that's why we did it.
way.
I only did the show because I'm like, I want to do this if it's going to teach me how to dance for my first dance.
Cute.
And it did. And we went all out. We did a mashup of 5 songs. So we did like some Charleston. We did the song Sing, Sing, Sing. We did Pony by Genuine.
Oh, that must have been
Happy.
epic.
Happy. Yeah. So it was epic. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, they're a great family, and they're really it's fun. When I did it, it was right after obviously a few seasons of The Bachelor, and so certainly technically it's reality TV. But some of the dancers, there are a few times where, they might ask an annoying question or two. And with Dancing with the Stars, you're getting a lot of celebrities who aren't used to reality TV. And I would just be like, this is nothing compared to like what they're asking or what they're pushing or, the frustration, like producing. But it's
you mean the manipulation of The Bachelor? It's different.
They might, The Bachelor pushes you a little bit more. Where I'm just like, what a lovely group of people. You know, like they're so nice and chill and kind. I mean, I love my Bachelor people, but it's a different show.
Yeah, they're plotting your demise behind your back a little.
They're gonna bring you to the point where your life might be ruined and then not ruin it. No,
so
I'm
kind.
just kidding. Yeah, they're lovely. So, but so you guys, we talk a lot about relationships on here. How long have you guys been together?
Since 2010? No.
Yes. No, 2010. We met.
Yeah.
So we met late 2010. It was during Fashion Week. I'll tell you the truth, then she'll lie about how this is how it went.
Is it a cute meet cute, nice?
It's a meet cute. Yeah.
Honestly, same.
Classic
I thought
romantic comedy thing where
Yeah, but grammatically doesn't make
I'm totally with you.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought you.
I learned it on the movie The Holiday.
No, it's
really?
Yeah. You know when you drop the papers and you both reach down to pick it up, you touch hands, you lock eyes.
They call it a meet cute. I totally get. Makes no sense. Yeah. Why don't they just say, "Hey, you met in a cute way"?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we met in a sexy way. Here it comes. So meet sex. No, that doesn't work. That sounds like something different.
No,
that sounds like a fetish.
How'd you meet sex?
So we meet sex. It was during Fashion Week. We were in Toronto. So we were out there filming. So this is before our shows had sort of taken off. And we were asked to be the celebrity models at this fashion event. And so Jonathan and I came and did that. I'm getting emotional over this. And then Linda was asked by the DJ was her best friend, so asked her to come and help out at the event. So I saw her backstage at the event, and I'm like, wow, she's beautiful. She was talking to some people, and you could see her fun energy. And I'm like, I need to think of a way to get in there and talk to this girl. And so I was just standing there. I was eating a piece of pizza, and she was holding a bottle of water. And so my big pickup line was, "Where'd you get that water?"
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the smoothest thing I've ever heard.
I was so smooth. Her response was, "Where'd you get that pizza?"
Uh-oh.
And then we had sex.
Anyway.
No, I'm just joking. So we just hit it off, and we just started chatting over pizza and water, and she was telling us where to go in the city for sushi, and I love volleyball, and there's beach volleyball. There's a chocolate place that was downtown. So our first date was actually we went to this hot chocolate place and then sushi. And then she was supposed to split off for her best friend's birthday
party at a karaoke bar. And I was like, all right, see ya. Have a good night. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll come too.
I invited myself along.
Like, you weren't invited.
See, in my mind, I crush it at karaoke. And so I said, if I can get in a room with her for karaoke, she's melting in my hands.
What song did you sing?
I sang I'm on a Boat. You know the song?
Yeah.
By Lonely Island.
Lonely Island?
It's not an appropriate song to sing in front of your parents, but it was the first time I'd ever tried it. And the funny thing is, her friend, he got so drunk he went to the wrong karaoke place, so it ended up just being Linda and me for an hour on our own. And I'm like, I'm in there. I got this. And we sang Summer Nights when I do the Olivia.
Oh.
I did the Olivia
Disney
Newton-John.
songs.
Yeah, Disney songs. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I know I read or listened to somewhere or heard that you weren't always super confident and charming with girls, but you studied up and then became quite the pickup artist.
Quite the annoying.
Yeah.
person.
So Jonathan, whenever he tells that story, he makes it sound like I was the biggest douchebag you've ever seen. And I became very confident, but I never liked hitting. And actually, that was the biggest thing I
didn't
learned.
Like hitting chicks?
Hitting on. But the thing I learned when I was reading up on it, and again, I'm very analytical. I study everything.
What did you read?
I can't remember the exact books, but I read like anything I could find, like or articles or things I would read. And anyway, the biggest thing I learned is you don't hit on someone. So whenever a guy goes to hit on a girl, automatically their defense goes up. And so the biggest thing is, like the water line, it's not very threatening to go up and say to somebody, "Where'd you get that water?" Oh, and then you get into conversation. So that's really what I learned. Just be yourself more, have fun. And I was so bad when I was younger. Like the moment I would try and talk to a girl, I probably looked so, well, I would try, but I would be so stilted and awkward that they'd probably like, this guy is a psycho. And then they would run away.
Murder me.
And then,
But what was it that you got made fun of that inspired you to want to build up that confidence, or did you just know
No, and the funny thing is growing up too, this is in our high school days, Jonathan and our best friend Pedro, they were overconfident. Like they literally, they were a numbers game thing to them when they were younger. They would just go and flirt with everybody. Hi, 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 and slap, slap, slap. Anyway.
What was that slap?
No, that was when they hit on a girl and they slap them. Yeah, this happens.
I'm going to slap you.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Years ago. No, the girl slaps Jonathan.
Oh.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
He says hi.
And they
he gets slapped. He moves on.
Yeah, I was like, what are you thinking? No, but
The
that's
way
what it
you
was.
told it.
We were
I was thinking butt slaps.
No, we never did that.
Jonathan got slapped.
We were
And
never
Pedro.
jerks. Pedro and Jonathan got slapped. Anyway, but we would, so they would be out there doing that, and I was always embarrassed, and I always used to play off that, oh no, it's rude to hit on a girl or to flirt with them, but that was my insecurity talking, that I just wasn't good at it, and but our friends were fine. They just didn't bug me about it. They just would go off and do their own thing, and then I realized, I'm like, I don't want to be the 40-year-old virgin. I want to actually meet somebody, and so that's why I tried to improve myself a little bit, and then I got very confident with it, and
then Jonathan got jealous, and
there were a couple of times where there's somebody, he was like, Dibs, or he wants to go and talk to somebody, and I'm like, well, how about we just have conversation with whoever it is, and if they seem to like you, then great. And several times they started talking to me more, and he was getting so mad.
The guys do that. They'll see a group of girls and go Dibs.
So, and I find that so annoying. And that's the thing is, I'm sure on the girls' side too. I'm sure sometimes, girls will be like, oh, I like that guy. Well, I'm going to be the one to talk to him, and it's a Dibs in their own right. But to me, it's kind of dumb. I'm like, why don't we all just have good conversation and be ourselves and see who gravitates towards who?
It is dumb because how do you even know? I mean, I'll admit I have done that and said that when you're younger. One time I remember I saw this group of girls, and I'm like, Dibs, and my buddy goes, all of them? Like I just said, I was just saying it out loud, but you're right. Like, how do we even know? And friends will do that sometimes. We're like, I decided I like him. And then all of a sudden this group will start talking, and there's clearly a connection with two other people. You're like, but I said I liked them. I'm like, you didn't even know who they were. And then friends will fight over this random
we had a
Dibs
written
calling.
Rule. And we had one friend in our group, and I wanted to strangle him. It was so annoying. He literally would always call Dibs. As soon as he's in somewhere, he would find like the cutest girls
friend
and dib. And we're like, why are you doing that? And then he would say to all of us all the time, and like, guys, I'm the best looking guy in this group. I gotta be honest. I'm the best looking guy, so I should get first dibs. And I'm like,
was he kidding or serious?
No, in his mind, I think he thought if he said it out loud, it would become true. And so it was just annoying to us. And so we said, okay, first off, shut up, you sound like an idiot. And secondly, every time you call Dibs, then you try to talk to someone and it doesn't work out, and then you get mad when somebody else talks to them. So no more Dibs. Yeah. We cut Dibs in our group. And
we had a friend like that in like our early 20s, and he was a bit of a romantic too. So it didn't come from a place of confidence. It came from a place of like, I think I really like her. And it'd always be this very earnest, but he's ultimately calling Dibs, and he didn't know her, and he certainly had no idea if she had any interest in him. Meanwhile, she would inevitably like have an interest in another guy in the group, and then he would always get mad at us, being like, bro code, man, I called Dibs. I'm like, you
so dumb.
You didn't even know who she was, and why are you mad at me? That like it happened all the time.
And so that's one of the things that always bugs me too is, you'll find somebody who says, no, we connect really well, but in reality they're calling Dibs on a physical attraction. So you literally have no idea. You don't know their personality. You don't know anything else. You don't know if there's going to be anything more than just that physical attraction. So to base a whole relationship just on that and think that that's where things should start from, I always didn't like. I like to get to know someone first, because I find someone they become more attractive once you get to connect via their personality. When I started to see Linda across the room, I started talking to people. I was already seeing her personality before we even spoke, and that's what I started
stalking. Yeah,
Stalker.
so just a nice way of saying he, was stalking.
And I followed her home. Actually, she let us drive her home. Jonathan and I drove her
Did you know
and
who
sister
he
home.
was?
No.
Oh,
Thank you. That was my next question. So he hits on you. He crashes your karaoke party. At what point do you realize, here's this tall guy, he has this identical twin, also he's renovating houses? What was that like to be kind of inundated to his very obviously large world and crazy world?
Well, at that point, the world wasn't as crazy. And I think it was him singing I'm on a Boat, and that we had so much fun for an hour in the karaoke bar by ourselves. Like, we didn't even realize we were waiting for the rest of the party to arrive. It was
My
I'm on a
magic
boat.
worked.
Attitude sheets. I'll tell you what. Bamboo. You never would have thought it, but you'd put your hands on some bamboo,
Who would have thunk?
and
So
it will
silky
blow
smooth.
your mind.
Oh, it really does. I sleep on them, and boy, oh boy, I will never go to any other sheets. That's how good they feel. And they're antimicrobial, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Also, if you don't know, bamboo is extremely breathable, so it improves your quality of sleep because it's very cooling.
It's temperature controlled in a way,
Yeah,
right? It's like science and God.
They've all combined to
combine-
make attitude sheets.
Bamboo is the perfect combination of science and God. Attitude sheets. They're soft as silk, breathable as linen, but at the price of cotton. You're going to love them. And when you support our sponsors, you'll support our show. And right now, my listeners will get 20% off their sheet set and free shipping. Just text FILES, FILES, to 64,000. The only way to get 20% off your set of sheets and free shipping is to text FILES, FILES, to 64,000. That's FILES to 64,000. Was Jonathan there with you?
No.
When we first met, Jonathan
Oh,
was there.
yeah.
So we were both there, and it was Linda and her sister had come. So they were fashion police at the event. So she was giving tickets to people for
Very
bad fashion.
serious job.
Very serious job. No, it's just like a fun, goofy thing. But so Jonathan and I met her and her sister pretty much at the same time.
And then we let them drive us home. And I remember specifically saying to my sister, I'm so glad we were not murdered. I don't know why we just did that.
let two
I was
strangers
like,
drive
but
him
they
home.
seem nice, and Shar knows them, so they must be good guys.
But that was our show hadn't taken off yet. So we had just been filming season 1.
Okay.
I think
It
the
was
show
the
might
pilot
have.
season, I think.
Oh, was it? So maybe it hadn't even started airing at that point. I can't
So you're just like two guys being like, yeah, we're filming this show. And you're being like, yeah, I've heard that story before.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, but you said you like volleyball and
Yes, I was talking about all these non-threatening things that would get good conversation going, and she wouldn't put up a defensive wall. And anyway, we laughed though. We're like, what made her connect more with me than my brother? Because we kind of all met at the same time.
Yeah.
What made me attracted to her and not her sister that was there? And then I thought too, what if Jonathan and her sister started dating? And there you go. That's
Probably good that they didn't. That might be too much, no?
yeah.
That would be
It
way
would have
too
been way
much.
too much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, trust me. Yeah.
So you guys have been together pretty much the entire time. You guys have been, past decade blowing up, and you've been part of the whole journey, if you will.
yeah, it's been fun, and it's been the fastest decade ever.
It
We need
literally
to
flies by. I mean,
Figure out a way to slow down time.
Yeah, we are workaholics. We like what we do. When you look at our type of shows, we do 45 episodes that we host a year just for our shows, but then we also produce a bunch of other talent on the network and other shows in different genres. But for us hosting, it takes up a lot of time, and it's crazy. Like I'll look at my schedule, and we literally don't have a day off. Not even, because when we're shooting one of the shows, will be during the week, and then we'll be doing press on a weekend, or we'll be doing appearance, or we'll be doing a commercial shoot. Wow. There's always something, or we're doing our Scott Living, like our furniture collection, an appearance for that or something. And so the last year, we've really been honing in on the fact that we need to enjoy the journey. And we do. We've had a lot of fun over the years, but we need to get more downtime where literally we could sit at home and do nothing if we wanted to. And it actually is feeling a lot better. And it's been helping Linda and me connect. That's also why we started the podcast. We thought the podcast
So
is a way
that we
to
could do more work.
Yeah, do more work.
Yeah.
No, as a way to force ourselves to just sit
Have
down and
Yeah.
chat and have good conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. What are some of the things that have you ever, Linda, throughout this process, like, have there been challenges where you've just like, enough's enough, or you get frustrated, or what is it like to date a twin? And all twins always talk about the connection, and people are fascinated with twins, and we have, like, do you ever feel like you're fighting with that kind of bond that they have? And is that something you have to adjust to?
No, because for the first 5 years of our relationship, the three of us lived together on the road. So wherever we were filming Property Brothers, it was Drew, Jonathan, and me. And it was it was fun. Like we were used to him third wheeling us.
Oh, everything. Literally, we have pictures of us on like a movie date, and he was sitting like next to us, or we're out for ice
Behind
cream,
us,
and
like
he's
you're-
behind us. But yeah, I mean, our family's always been close. Her family is really close, and so it just kind of it made sense for us. Instead of us getting a condo when we're filming somewhere for a couple of months, and Jonathan doing the same, we would just get a big house and kind of all be together. And yeah, I mean, we like that. But at some point too, obviously, you want more of your own time. It's the same. Jonathan's dating, and they want their own time. And we sort of, Linda and I start to go out now off on our own adventures, and it's exciting. It's not taking. We talk. The twin dynamic is very true, like what you're saying. Like twins have this connection unlike anyone else, and we'll always have that. But this has created a new connection for me, which has been really exciting to see that flourish.
Yeah. With the third wheel, I take great pride in being a great third or even fifth wheel. Did you like look out for like Jonathan? You guys have this relationship. I know he's in a relationship now, but you guys have only been dating each other, and I'm assuming he's dated a variety of people over the decade. Where it's just, are you guys, now that you have the stability in your relationship, where is this like trying to get Jonathan to find his kind of perfect match, and that you guys found yours? I feel that with my friends sometimes. They have an unstable relationship, and they're always like, Nick, we gotta make sure you find what we have.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always looked out for him in a sense that if we think someone is no good, I think we've made a pact to say something.
Oh, okay. That's
But-
tough. How do you do
Good.
that? How do you do that? It's
I
tough.
I leave it to Drew.
Yeah.
Drew, you better tell your brother.
I'm the loudmouth. To be honest, it's so I was always the single one, always. Before Linda, I was always single. I had one other girlfriend. I think we were together for 6 months, but the rest of the time I was just casually dating here and there, and I was so focused on work. But my older brother JD and Jonathan, they were always in and out of they were in longer term relationships, but it was a bad relationship, and then into another one. And it was really annoying. And our older brother, without getting into the long end of it, but our older brother was in a relationship for 4 years, and she was not a nice woman. She was actually a very mean woman. And I remember, we never saw JD again because our family was really close, but we would only see him maybe for a birthday, maybe Christmas. I'm like, this sucks.
Sad.
Yeah, I'm like, we're so close and we never get to see him. And it's almost like she had the voodoo spell on him because he didn't see it. He just saw this woman that he thought he loved. And anyway, the long story short, I end up telling him, I'm like, I have to tell you, after 4 years, they were engaged. I'm like, I have to tell you, no one else is telling you. No one likes your fiance.
They were engaged.
They were engaged at this point, and they were living. Jonathan and I had built a house, and this house was like a miniature version of our parents' ranch. It was an investment property, and we let her and JD live there for free. We're just trying to do something nice for them.
Sure.
And I remember, my mom would still be coming to help, like do the gardening and everything for them and stuff. And she would just be like, "Are you done messing with my house?" To my mom, I'm like, my mom's in her 60s helping you for free to make your place look beautiful. Anyway, I told
For
JD
the house that's not theirs.
for the house that's not theirs, yeah. And so I said to JD, I was like, nobody else is going to tell you this, and you may be mad at me and never want to talk to me again, but I have to tell you because I love you. No one likes Denise. She is not a nice person. I don't understand what you see in her, and I think you deserve a lot better. You deserve somebody who loves you as much as you love them. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want to hear it. He was mad at me. He didn't talk to me for a few days, but it was only a few days after that. They were just sitting down watching TV. They weren't arguing or anything like that. And out of the blue, this is verbatim what he said that she said to him. She just goes, JD, if your dad died, I wouldn't care. I mean,
What?
if you were upset, I'd be upset. But I could care less if he died.
Unprompted?
Unprompted. She literally just said that.
Oh my God.
And that is, in a nutshell, her personality. And it was at that point that he realized this is not a good person.
Yeah.
And so they split. And so I said to all my family after that, I'm
Thank
like,
God you planted that seed.
well, yeah, I said, I'm going to tell you if you're with somebody who's not great. And so I've said the same in the past to Jonathan for relationships. And we've always wanted, I mean, it's the same with Linda's siblings too. We want to see everyone in a relationship, someone with someone they love. And my family and her family, they're all very giving people and they're very loving people. And so now my older brother's married. JD got married last Halloween to an amazing woman, Annalie. And Jonathan is now in a relationship with someone he's really connected with more than he's ever connected with anybody before. So it's coming. Everyone's getting off the market. Linda's sister, April, who was always a single one, she's now in a relationship. So
Wow.
You guys have set the example. And that is really tough, though. I mean, I think I've said this before, but years ago, I had a short engagement. We dated for like a year and a half before I got engaged. And then we broke up. And that's when my family was like, we didn't really like her. And I was like, thanks for the heads up.
But it's hard
in
to
fairness
tell.
to,
Yeah.
you want to not you don't know, and if you're not kind of the nosy family or friends, and especially when it comes to friends, it's just like, I don't want to upset them. I don't want to like have them push me away. There's always that fear, like even your brother JD, it's like you knew he was going to be mad and not talk to you, but sometimes you have to like take that bullet, especially if you know if it's coming from a good place.
And that's exactly the biggest thing, I think, for me at least. Everyone communicates in different ways, and everyone receives that communication different ways. So it's an ever learning thing for me to remember, if I'm saying something to you, you're not exactly taking it the way I'm intending it to be taken.
Yeah.
And that can be very sensitive when you're in a relationship with somebody, or if it's a sibling or whoever. And so I always try and remember, if someone's saying something to me, I know he loves me. I know my brother loves me. He may be mad at me right now, but I'm understanding why, and so I'm trying not to let things hit me the wrong way. And so that's why he's the same. I think afterwards he realized it was out of a place of love that I gave him that information. It wasn't just trying to be mean, and so he appreciated that.
Yeah, totally, because you have no fight in the game per se other than his happiness.
Oh, I'm wanting to see my brother more. Yeah.
Well, it's selfishly there, I guess, but still, there's out of love for
him to
be happy, and that is a challenge. I mean, it's tough to do. Linda, do you have tips for our audience people, for the people who spend a lot of time working or with their spouses? Yeah. Like, what are some of the things you do? Like, if you guys, I'm sure you don't, but if you ever get sick of each other, like, what do you guys do to have your own hobbies? Things like that, especially for you guys seeing so connected, not only in your personal lives, but your work lives and things like that.
Yeah, and people have asked, don't we get sick of each other? Because we spend a lot of time together, obviously personally and for work. I think the most important thing is to share each other's interests. Like, Drew is obsessed with coins. I will never be as obsessed with coins as he is.
Dive into that next.
Yeah.
But I'm
so awesome.
Happy to go to antique stores and look at other stuff, and then he can get his coin fix. And I'm obsessed with Disney, and he'll not go to Disney every single week as much as I want to.
I love Disney,
but he'll
but not that
go like
much.
a few times.
Are you in Club 33?
No, I'm not.
What?
Because we film on the road all the time. So our only fear was, you do that, we're never here to take advantage of it. But we have friends who are.
But on top of that, yes, alone time is also nice, but not for the sake of taking time away from each other, but just for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And it's really important. And I mean, it's a challenge. I give you guys a lot of credit to be able to do that. And you guys are still finding ways to spend time together, but like change it up. I think that's pretty neat.
Well, I do think, and it's because I was always, like I said, I was always single. I was never in a long-term relationship. I remember a friend saying back in the day, so him and his wife had been married, I think, for a year or two. And I remember that there's this one moment we were all out, and they're like, hey, I just realized today it's been 764 days that we've been together every day, and we've never been apart. We've slept in the same bed. And so literally for like, 2 years or whatever, they've been together every single day. And I remember at that point thinking, that's hell. I was like, why would you want that? I want alone time. And then now here I'm in a relationship, and I realize that Linda and I have the same thing. We have these long periods where we're always together. So we had come to the conclusion too, it is important to have some of that time apart, even though we want to be together all the time. Yeah. And whether that's even just going away for a couple of hours to do something, or whether I had to go away for work for a couple of days, you get a bit of alone time, and it makes you really appreciate that time together as well. And so it's a learning thing for me, since I'd never been in a long-term relationship. And there are things I find I'm constantly loving. We have our friction. We'll have our debates over things. Like, she always tries to trick me into leaving the door open when she's peeing. And I'm like, no, shut the friggin' door. I want some romance left in this relationship.
Is this a real thing?
Yes. Have you ever dealt with that?
Wait,
no.
But would you
Do all
pee,
women
would
like
you,
leaving the door open?
Would you pee with the door open with your significant other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
What is wrong with that?
I mean, I remember being in college with my first girlfriend, and she peed, and I took a lot of pride being like, this doesn't bother me. At the same time, I was like,
weirdos.
you're only peeing, right? Because let's not get nuts.
Well, that's my whole thing. I'm like, there's nothing less romantic than defecating in front of the one that you're interested in.
That's just say poop.
No,
defecating.
it's so no. I just like that's. Not, I said to Linda, I'm like, we will be married 60 years. We'll be old and shrivelly, and I'm like, go and shut that door when you pee because I still don't want to hear it. That's grumpy old Drew voice.
Yeah.
But no, I have no desire. I have no desire.
I get it. I accept. I accept the fact. Everyone poops. I get it. I was dating someone once, and it was like a moment, and I was like, okay. And she definitely. I've dated women who, it's like they have a thing for it, and by a thing for it, it's like they want you to know I poop, and I need you to know that you love me for it.
That's the start of a weird fetish.
It was a weird thing, and I remember the bathroom door was closed, and I was like knocking on the door. What are you doing? And she just goes, "I'm taking a shit," and just the way she
So
said it,
angry.
I was just like, oh. Okay, I mean, I get it, but like, why do you gotta sound like my buddy? She was like testing me. It was like, I need to know you love me, even though I do.
Okay.
We sound like we could be friends.
Okay.
Why do you gotta test your love that way?
Do you guys want to date? I'm just because. So this is
No,
maybe.
I didn't love it.
No,
Okay, there we go.
I'm laughing because within our group of friends, I don't know, the topic of poop always comes up because it's
with your female women.
yes, yeah.
So
But
this is
it's an important thing.
well, of course we all do it except for me. I don't do that. But this is so like dude humor when you're like in the locker room playing sports and all that, and everyone they're like farting in front of each other and all that. I've always hated that. I've never been one of the like the guy like kind of things. I always find most of those locker room things just disgusting and gross. Anyway, then I, at one point, was just kind of casually dating her. There's this one girl that I met, and she was like that dude. Like she was that dude. And so I remember we were on like a first date kind of a thing. And then she rips one right next to me, and she's like, and she's like cracking like one of the guys. Instantly, zero attraction ever for that. And that was the last time we ever saw that person. So for me, maybe I was like scarred in some way when I was younger. And then that's formed me into the stubborn person I am today that doesn't want to have any of that or doors open for peeing as an adult.
It's fun that you test them though. Yeah. I see both sides. I'm more like you, Drew, where it's just like I'm going to be an adult and accept that, and I understand that, and I'm not going to pretend it doesn't happen. But let's not shove it in my face.
I do it because it bugs you.
Yes, great way to build a relationship. Do things to spite me.
That is
So
basically
funny.
a relationship.
What's the worst thing? So on any dates or when you were with someone for, you said a year and a half?
I've had a handful of
long-term relationships.
It's been a while. But.
What's something, aside from all the poop talk, that has been the most annoying thing to you in a relationship, whether it was you doing it to them or them doing it to you? What's something that you can see being an annoying relationship thing?
Well, I have a bad habit. I mean, I have a type both physically and more specifically personality-wise. And I always seem to be attracted to someone who is seemingly confident on the outside, but not really on the inside. And I have this kind of personality where I can be monotone, and I like to talk things through, and I'm calm, and I'm analytical that way. And I'm dating an emotional person who emotes, and so my calmness will only trigger their emotions, and so they tend to be really mean. And it was just like, it was always something where it would just, we'd get in a fight, and it would just be something, we weren't fighting, they were just being mean.
So they were being mean, but it's because they felt that your monotone way was being mean
I
to
would
them.
annoy the shit out of them
Yeah.
with my like, well, let's just talk, like, okay.
Seriously, I think you and I related.
Yeah, you're very similar.
yeah.
And I'd be like, well, we can figure it out. And then, the only thing that makes me mad, the only thing that really gets under my skin is if I feel like you're doing it to spite me, where I don't feel like you're being productive. I don't think you're like working with me to try to solve whatever problem we have. You're just trying to fuck with me. And that will just really get me. And then, of course, those are the women I tend to be attracted to. I'm like, I love you. We can make this work. Is this going to be
so annoying, but I love you.
Yeah. So
So-
that's been the big thing.
I find, so this is one thing that I've said in the past, which I've learned is not a good thing to say. And because I'm very much the same way. I analyze what's happening. I can be very unemotional in a conversation. So even if it's something that's very heated or whatever, I can be very unemotional, and I can look at your point of view, my point of view, and I can be like, okay, I understand this is why I'm pissing you off. But that actually just makes the other side more angry.
Totally.
But I've said this in the past, so I think I might have said it once to Linda, but I've said it to my buddy before, and my brother when he is just out of or in a bad relationship. He's very upset, and I'm just like, have you tried not being upset?
Oh.
And that doesn't go over well. I'm like, no, but for me, like the way my brain works, if I get myself all worked up over something, I literally just like, oh, I'm upset right now. I can neutralize that, and then I can look at this with a level head. I just try not being upset, and it works. But for every other person who's not a robot on the planet, I just look like a complete asshole.
Well, at least you realize that's a robotic tool that you have.
I relate to you. I relate to you a lot, and it's like it just comes across as so condescending to your person you're with. And you're just like, just try it. It's super easy. And by the way, why are you feeling the way you are feeling? That's insane. I'm what?
You're just trying to be earnest. Like I'm trying to be like
I'm trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
I really have the best intentions. No, you're being a dick.
That is the one source of a lot of, I guess, disagreement is the tone.
Well, because I'll talk to Jonathan. Jonathan and I can just talk to each other. There's no sugarcoating. We just spit it out. We keep it short and we deal with it. I love it because that's the way I like to communicate. But I know I can't talk with Linda that way. And I can't talk with a lot of my friends that way. I definitely can't talk to my mom that way because she'll automatically think that something, like, you know, she knows our personalities. But no, she's not very sensitive. My mom is actually amazing.
I think we're all normal humans.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're normal. I'm just
attacked.
Insensitive. Yeah. So,
but you have shorthand also.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I got so used to Jonathan and I did everything together, and we got used to that shorthand. As soon as I talk to any normal human being with that, I do come across as being short with somebody, or I come across being a little bit, well, I'm not really condescending, but just short and rude. Yeah. Dickish. Yes. Thank you.
Dickish.
Yeah.
I know my kind.
But it also doesn't help. I find sometimes, maybe you get this. How tall are you?
6'2".
Yeah, so I'm 6'4". Just because of my height and like the size of most people, I'm looking down while I'm talking to them. And a lot of times with the way I talk, some people will think I'm talking down to them, like verbally talking down to them. And I'm like, no, it's just that I'm tall. That's all. My size should not affect the way you're receiving this communication. But
no, I had a conversation last night about anxiety and ADD, and I was, it was just like, hey, if you have anxiety, people generally don't see anxiety; they just think you're weird. And if you have ADD, they don't see ADD; they just think you're dumb and forgetful. And I'm like, and then add to that, I'm tall and kind of cute, so they just think I'm a dick. It's just like you're constantly just aloof or short with them, and so I understand your plight.
So you're a weirdo, freak, dickish,
who's stupid,
egotistical because you called yourself cute. So okay. I want to see this on
Wait,
your
but
Tinder
you said
profile.
you guys could be related.
Whoa.
So Drew, do you have anyone you can set me up with?
Yeah. Linda's sister April is perfect for you. No.
Taken.
She's taken.
Yeah, Linda's like, Drew, stop. No.
I have one question. I know, like, is it hard not to get wrapped up when you have one partner who has this huge job and it's so all consuming to like get wrapped up in everything he's doing? Like, how do you keep your own thing going?
I think it's hard because we work together.
Yeah.
But because I can see it from the outside, I'm the one who's constantly reminding ourselves we need to take a break, or we need to work on a passion project, or do we need to say yes to all of these things? And the answer is always no. So yeah, it is easy to get caught up in it when we're so busy and we don't have a second to think about what we're doing. But
I think the one big thing for us, you'll know the same, Nick, with your work and everything that you do. Opportunities, when you've been on TV and stuff, opportunities are always coming at you. Things to do that are really cool, and I found in the early years we were taking on a lot of these. Just it's good publicity or whatever it might be. But now in our later years, and our business has grown a fair bit, we have less time available, and a lot of these things they'll be there a year from now, they'll be there another time, and to overload our plate that time has to come from somewhere. And so I find in the past, what has happened is it never came from another work initiative. That time would come out of Linda and my time together. And so we were starting to have no time together, just ourselves, or when we were together, we were just talking work. And so that's the one big thing that we've noticed is we've had to change our schedule a little bit. We have to align things better so that we're not taking away from our one-on-one time.
That's really great.
Non-negotiable. I like
Mm-hmm.
The non-negotiables. Who's you guys seem to have a good balance, but who's who's in charge? Who's the boss? Because I feel like I know, but
That's hard. I would say, well, like with our company, I'm the boss. But this is what I'd say. Linda is like that voice of reason in your head.
Yeah.
So everything I do, I always go to that voice of reason to think, is this the right thing? Is this the smartest thing? Should we do this? Is this too much on our plate? Whatever it is. So, and even literally with everything, even if I'm dressing to go somewhere or doing an event, I'm like, she likes men's fashion and she's much better than I am. Does this look okay? Do I look all right? Is it? Should I change the color?
I hope that comes from a positive place. It sounds like I'm really judgmental right now.
oh no,
No, no. Oh, no, definitely.
I get the sense, Drew's the big personality, the talker, the boss, but you're like Oz, the quiet, confident, and he
The real boss.
At the end of the day, he's always coming to. You're the chairman. He's like the CEO, but you're the chairman. No one really never they
She's
see
the
him.
puppeteer.
Yes.
I'm the puppet.
And without the chairman, the CEO, I mean, where is he really? What can he really do?
What I would actually say, the best way to visualize our dynamic though is, so I'm a mover and a shaker. I make things happen. And so I've always been that
You're
way.
great at connecting.
awesome.
Yeah, I create connections and make things move forward, and that's one thing. Working together over the years, Jonathan and me were both kind of this sort of personality, but I'm the guy that can kind of come into a room and make things happen and move forward. Linda is the most creative person you would ever have met in your life. She's extremely creative, artistically, mentally, coming up with some of our marketing campaigns or new furniture design or new show development. She's in every aspect of our business as a creative director, but she likes to move at a slower, really sort of methodical rate. I can't move slow. I like to move. I make decisions. I come up with ideas and I go. So our relationship is constantly pulling each other back and forth.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
She
that.
slows me down, then I speed her up. She takes more time on something. I get something done. And I really think it's created this ultimate balance for both of us.
I'm very envious of that dynamic.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I like balance and I like to have someone. People always say in relationships, it's like, oh, what are you looking for? It's like, I want someone to make me a better person. And I always hate that answer because no one can make you a better person, but you can find people who help you be your best self in a sense. And so it's just finding someone who completes you in that kind of cheesy way where, as you just described, Drew, you have your strengths, Linda, you have your strengths, and together you're really be able to bring out the parts of you that you're not good at, and they bring that up, and that's kind of everyone's dream.
I think that, and that's what a lot of people don't. I think people get into relationships thinking they can change somebody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you see it all the time, whether it's, some guy that wants a certain something in who they're with, or some girl who's dating somebody and thinks that, I could make him be more like this.
Or and people think they get in relationships because they can be changed.
Yeah.
They can, I'm a shitty person, but I just need to meet someone to
Right.
stop me from doing this.
Yeah, and I mean the only people that can change you is really yourself. If it's for the right reasons. Like for me, I like being in a relationship that there are things that I've had to change in my lifestyle because now there's somebody else I have to put first as well. It's before when you're on your own, it's just yourself that you're taking care of, and I think that's changed me, and I've changed me in the right ways in this relationship, and Linda's done the same so that we work better together. And yeah, that's something I learned early on is you never want to try to change someone else. Just hopefully they'll want to make certain changes for you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that it does. It's great. And before we wrap up with our fun game that we play called Do Me Know Me, Do You Know Me?
Do me know me?
Do you know me? Really selling the game.
Do me
Wow.
know
Do
me.
me know me.
Do me know me.
You love to take classes for anything.
Yes.
And
do.
I love that about you so much in our world that we talk about it. Like most people, once they finish traditional school, they have this sense of, I'm done learning, I'm done taking risks, this is the life I have, I don't care if I'm unhappy or complacent. They just don't do much about it. You're taking classes for ping pong.
Why? You said it in a judgmental way.
I did. I apologize. I think it's great, but because like you can really, if you want to get better at something, there's YouTube or whatever it is, and you fully embrace this ability to
why YouTube
doing that
when you can get a sensei of ping pong to come and teach you his way. So
What's his name?
I've had many over the years. I have one fellow, I don't know how to pronounce his name actually, but he played on the Chinese national team.
Whoa.
And when you think table tennis, like that's the gold
That's where you go.
globe there, right? Yeah. So anyway, my whole philosophy, my whole life is I'm a lifelong student. I love learning and I love experiencing new things. And that's one reason Linda and I have really bonded too, is because we are always up for trying something new and different. And with that, I'm just very competitive. I love competing, and it's never competing to knock someone else down. Growing up, Jonathan and I were always competing, but we were competing to push each other to do better. And so I think like my philosophy in life is why reinforce bad habits when you can learn to do it right? And so for me, no matter what it is, whether it's guitar, golf, table tennis, I'll get lessons from someone. And it's not like I take lessons all the time. Like I'll do a random lesson here, a random lesson there, but it's to learn to do it better so I can destroy my friends.
No, but I do think that's great, especially in our adult lives. We have this feeling that if we are getting into something new or teaching ourselves, it's like, I can't believe I'm at this point. It's like they almost see it as a bad thing. You know? It's just
totally.
Like, I'm behind.
Yeah.
Because like what if you do start something later in life and you take a risk, then you start comparing yourself to people who are experts or pros who have done it at an early age, and you get so self-judgmental.
And you know what the funny thing is, I saw a stat at some point, I can't remember exactly what it was, but if you see people who go back to school later in life and get their degree, a lot of times they excel faster because I think one, when they're in school, they're less distracted with the socialization and whatnot. They have a purpose, exactly. And they're very committed. And I think that's a really great thing. I love seeing people at any point in their life, even like when you retire, if you're 60 or 70 and you go back to school for something, that's phenomenal. And I think as soon as you think you've learned it all or you don't have to learn anymore, then you're lying to yourself. And that was actually a business philosophy that I learned early on too, is with clients when I was a real estate agent. A lot of realtors want you to think that they know everything. There's absolutely nothing that they don't know about this house or whatever else. And you can tell when somebody's lying to you if they don't know all the facts on this house. So I would be the one that would be honest with my clients and I would say, I don't know the answer to that right now, but I'm going to find out for you and I'll make sure to get you an answer. And all clients wanted to know is that I was working for them.
And
if I didn't know the answer,
there
I would
you
find
establish trust too. You admit you don't know something.
Yeah, and they can smell it. When you're lying to them and you don't know, they can smell it. And then they have some, maybe they don't know right up front, but subconsciously they know there's something that they don't like about you. Yeah. And that never worked. And I think that's one way to establish the way we've grown all our relationships, whether it's work or personal, is establishing that trust that I'm never going to just sort of sugarcoat or lie or I'll just be a robot.
I think it's great. I think those are all great takeaways. And when I heard that about you, I was like, that's really cool. And I think people need to hear more about that because people are afraid to take risks after. It's bizarre. We've decided as a society that once we graduate from college, if we went that far, this is the life I'm stuck with, and that just doesn't have to be the case.
What's the weirdest thing you've taken lessons for?
I am currently in acting, improv, and stand-up comedy class as we speak.
That is not weird. That's amazing. Oh,
Just kidding.
I was like, so I did acting classes, improv, sketch comedy, stand-up, all before I got into hosting. All of that has made me a better host. It's made me a better business owner, and it's made me more present with people that we're dealing with, having that experience.
And I have different goals with them. I've done acting. I do hosting. But I also have, to that point, kind of realistic expectations of, do I have like big goals with all of them? Sure. But I have that no matter what I'm doing, it's going to help me in some aspect. If nothing else, it helps me be a better host of the podcast or just helps a gig I might get. I'm also just having fun doing it. Yeah. I'm also meeting and connecting people in my life. Who knows? I might meet a girl. You never know. Like,
you might have a meet cute.
Right. And so, I've done all these things, and that it is something as I've gotten older, I've challenged myself to do, because 22 and 23-year-old me never would have done that. I would have judged myself too much for doing that. So
also, acting class is basically a therapy session.
It really is, yeah.
Well, I would. So now in my acting class, I've got my teacher to start a group, but before we'd work one-on-one, and the first 20 minutes was really just therapy. Where I'd go in, like, should we act, or can I just tell you about like my problems? Or it was great. So before I let you two go, will you play a fun game with us?
All right.
It's called Do You Know Me? Real simple. I'm going to ask a question. Rochelle selected these questions. We haven't played it with two people before, but I think we can adjust. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Has Drew and or Linda ever done X, Y, or Z? Don't answer right away. Rochelle and I will guess.
Okay.
And we'll figure out if we know Drew and Linda.
See, you could have cheated, because if you looked online, I'm sure the answer to every one of these questions is
Has
out
already
there.
been answered.
Yeah.
Well, you might
And
be
everything online
surprised.
is true.
We'll see. Let's not assume, Drew.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you know me with Drew and Linda Scott? Question number 1. Can Drew and Linda spell the word millennial? Can Drew or Linda?
I think
Linda
yes.
absolutely can.
Whoa!
Thank you.
Whoa!
And I question if Drew can.
Oh.
Me no happy.
If it
I
makes you
think
feel
they
better,
both can.
I have zero chance. I'm looking at it, how it's spelled, and I still might screw it up.
I think they both can.
Do we do it at the same time? Because
Yeah.
I think you have to.
You do.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
will
ready?
point out that you're probably somewhat right. She's better with spelling.
Oh, I
Let's try
love
it.
spelling bees.
All right, ready?
Okay. Can
M.
you use it in a sentence?
I would like Drew to go first because I just know that
Okay.
Linda
All right, let's
can
see.
do it.
I got to picture this. M. Am I right so far?
Yeah. So far, killing it so far.
Milenniallez.
Wrong.
Two N's.
Wow, you were
They're
so
two-
confident.
She spells it with her finger.
no, wait.
She'll write it out on her like.
Oh no,
leg.
I was
Really
so
a hard
confident. Now
word.
you're
Don't get in your
messing me
head.
up.
Don't get in your head.
Milennial.
So close.
L.
Okay. Millennial.
Correct.
Wow.
Oh, it's the
That
first
was
double L I've
impressive.
You missed the double L.
So when I was in elementary school, the first spelling bee I ever did, it was bicycle. I had
Yeah.
to spell.
That's hard.
And I was like BIKLYCK, whatever it was, and I was out first round, and I
Yeah.
felt I felt terrible, and I've never been good at words since.
I lost on
I don't-
grocery.
you're borderline weirding me out. I'm a terrible speller, and in the second grade, I'm almost certain bicycle was the word that got me
God,
out.
I think we did live the same life. Were you also? I'm actually just a test tube experiment. So Jonathan was a single kid, and they just started cloning him. So
I don't have a twin that didn't make it that I know
does
of.
have 10 siblings.
I do have 10 siblings.
oh my god, I
Wow.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Are you the baby?
Second oldest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you think he was the baby?
I don't know.
Did I-
Childish.
Just a weird sense of entitlement. I don't- Question number 2. Does Drew and Linda have a pair of cargo shorts? The fashion police Linda does not. I don't know. He has pink socks
I
on.
think
Definitely
he's got
no.
one deep in his drawer.
Cargo shorts.
I think he's got one.
Does he?
When he's, doing demolition sometimes.
I
Because you
don't-
do that stuff now too,
I don't
right?
want to include he might somewhere in his house have a pair he never wears. I'm going to augment. It's part of his active wardrobe. No? You don't want to?
I'm still saying yes. You can't change it, Nick. You already said no. Okay, go.
I don't think he does. I don't think either of them do.
You have so little, like your standards for me are so low.
He has pink
No,
socks on.
I don't have cargo shorts.
Excuse me.
And when I
But
read,
we have cargo pants.
well, yeah, I guess
Does that count?
but they're
Difference.
but they're more stylish. They're like runway cargo pants.
I love cargo
Oh.
pants
Is
and
our
shorts.
cargo-
I should get cargo shorts. I love pockets.
But I think the ones you're thinking
you?
of there
I
are the
love
terrible,
pockets.
terrible
Yes.
ones that it's usually like someone's dad wears that with
Yeah.
like flip flops
Right.
or
Right. No.
white
You
socks
put
up to the mid
snacks in
calf.
them.
This is a very, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is a very fashionable couple.
Yes, true.
Question number 3. Has Drew and Linda eaten at a fast food restaurant in the last week?
I like how the English is so bad with it. Has Drew and Linda instead of have
Well,
Drew
they're
and Linda.
they're changing it up because we're two people.
That's just because he doesn't.
Nick.
He's low key making
We've
fun of
established
me.
him and I are not good with
Words.
the English language.
I'm almost yeah.
Millennials.
Millennial.
Oh, that's how I should have done it.
millenn-
Shit.
Mill. Yeah, Mill.
All right.
See, that makes so much sense, but I wouldn't know how to do that.
Okay, so
What
he
was the
said
question?
I usually give up. You know, like when I'm typing
Fast food.
something, you know, and it's just like
Just let it autocorrect.
autocorrect, and then I just pick a different word, Nick. All right, fast food,
food.
past
So
24, well, past
he,
week.
he already gave me a hard time for underestimating him and his taste level. So he has absolutely not had fast food in the past 24 hours.
Wait, 24 hours?
Is that what you said?
A
Nick?
week. I'm gonna say a week.
A week?
A week.
Okay, they haven't. I'm just trying to make up for the cargo shorts.
I think Drew has. He's a very busy guy. He tries to eat healthy, but when he has a craving, he has a craving, and so there is something that he has eaten.
And Linda.
No, she can follow through better than she won't do it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh!
So you're basically saying she can follow through. Linda will always goes all the way, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I-
Basically, if I'm craving it, I will eat it.
You will. So what have you eaten? So have you,
I'm sure I ate fries. Like,
No.
Hell yeah.
Well, fries aren't
No.
necessarily fast food.
We,
Yeah,
we haven't done any
what?
fast food this last
Really?
week. No. So Linda and I
Sure.
switched over 6 months ago to a vegetarian diet.
Really?
And we've been trying really hard to stick to it. And we've done a little fish from time to time, but we haven't done any red meat. We haven't done chicken. We haven't done
for
pork.
you.
Don't miss it. I thought I would. I grew up on a ranch.
Do you
I thought
help?
I'd miss it.
Is it nice to do that with someone?
Yes.
Oh, it's so much
100%.
easier.
I couldn't do it without having a partner, like literally a teammate.
Yeah.
yeah, it's so much easier. Even with us trying to eat healthy, if I order dessert, he's eating it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, we have to be in it together.
Only willpower I have is at the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's just like if I don't buy it, but if it's like at home,
Yeah.
If
once
it's already
at
there,
home,
you're going to
it's-
take it. Could
yeah.
put crackers and cheese in front of me and I'm done. But we have a chef that makes meals wherever we are too. And
Oh, that's
some people are like, oh, so foofy. No, honestly, it's because it costs us less to get a customized, really healthy meal instead of the amount of time that it takes to go to the grocery store and then make it and everything else.
And then there's
So it
less
actually helps
waste.
us. And there's less waste. That's how I get past the craving to go do fast food because of our busy schedule, is because we have these amazing meals prepped for us.
that would, yeah. It's for me when I cheat, it's because I'm at that crossroad of being hungry and not knowing
Yeah.
What to,
what to
next.
eat and not having something there. And then you just, ugh.
Because I'd rather eat than starve myself. Like I don't want to not eat if I'm hungry. Yeah.
It's ideal.
Yeah. You realize he's answering all these questions for himself, thinking that will be the right answer.
I'm
for me.
projecting.
Yeah.
Have Linda and Drew eaten? No, that's did. Ugh. Did Drew and Linda go to private school?
I'm trying to remember.
You finished high school early, or you did some unique school.
Yeah, I think Drew did.
I'm gonna just guess that Linda went public.
I'm going to guess she went, I think they both went private.
Is it because she looks rough and tough?
Nah, I'm just guessing. I really have no idea. Who knows? I went to public. I think
I
that's
went to
kind of
public.
that's just kind of where you come from, more like opportunity rather than
I'll give you one more hint.
Oh.
private and public. What?
Okay, so you say I'm private. You think I'm
At
private?
some point you did.
So we grew up in Canada. So if that influences you at all.
So everyone goes to public. Is that what that means?
Well, that's a weird hint.
I don't know anything about Canada.
I am not familiar with
No,
Canadian.
so okay. So we
I know
both
you call it university. I don't.
yeah, exactly. We both went to public school,
Yeah.
but in Canada, most people think when you compare the U.S. School system to Canada, all public schools are great, or most public schools in Canada are great. They're not as sort of
Yeah.
Yes.
But there are
rough.
private schools
There are private
in
schools, though.
Canada.
But
But yes,
no-
we both went to public
And
school.
you did do your research, because I did go to a unique school. It was a test school. There were only 2 in all of Canada, and it was a work at your own pace, almost more like college. And so from grade 9 to 12, you work at your own pace. If I was really good at something, I could excel. For example, math. I completed every grade of math in 2 weeks each because I was like a total math nerd.
That's amazing.
And then
More than a nerd. It's private.
yes. But now I can barely calculate a tip at the end of it. Anyway, yeah.
You just
Because you
multiply
only
the
did it for
tax.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe.
But I do like to talk like this from time to time, so people think I went to private school. Right, Buffy?
Buffy.
I don't know.
I just want to point out this starts with is, but I'm going to change it to are.
Uh-huh.
Are Drew and Linda
Last question.
smiling in their ID, driver's license?
This is a good one. Good question.
Drew, yes.
Drew, no for me.
Linda, no.
Lindy, yes. I'm opposite. Look at that great
All right.
smile.
She's got a great smile. If only she could drive.
I don't
Oh, no.
She doesn't drive.
But do you have an ID?
Yeah.
Are you smiling in the photo?
I thought you weren't
I don't think you're allowed to.
smile.
In Canada, I don't think you're allowed to.
Where's mine?
Originally, and then
Oh, mine's
I have a
over there.
U.S. driver's license.
You can't smile in passport.
Yeah.
think-
Okay.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
I am smiling.
I am smiling.
You're, oh.
Smiling.
I'm smiling in mine.
You don't drive.
I don't
She-
drive.
Linda is the Zoolander of drivers. She can't turn left. Like that's anxiety. Like that
Yeah.
puts her anxiety through the roof.
You can't, or you just do. You just rather not. I'm not a. I don't love driving.
I would rather not, and I don't have my license anymore just because I've never.
Good for you.
She would take
And I-
three rights before she takes a left.
I would if it was a
That
crazy
bad?
road, or I'm the one who parks far away where it's easier to park,
Oh, yeah.
and then I would just walk.
I love that about you. No, I mean,
Like I don't want to hit anyone's car, and
not only that, but like I can't how many times I've been driving around with someone and they're just like waiting and waiting for the perfect parking spot. Like we could have parked
Oh yeah.
2 blocks away.
I was gonna
Just
say
walk,
I don't
man.
love that, but you have to do the drive by, because if there's a spot, there's a spot. But if you're the person who sits there and waits for 10 minutes for a spot to open up when you could have literally 5 seconds driven further, then you're an idiot.
And maybe an asshole if the car's behind you.
yeah.
Exactly. Maybe a little dickish.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming, guys. Tell us a little bit about your podcast that people can listen to that you guys just recently launched.
Yeah, it's called At Home with Linda and Drew Scott, and we have conversations with awesome people at home so that we can spend more time chilling.
Yeah, honestly, it was a way for us just to get amazing people together, listen to their stories, dig deeper, and also for our fans to dig deeper into our lives, because there's only so much we talk about on our shows. And so it's really pulling back the curtains. And, you know, Linda has a risque life that we really dig into. So,
Yeah.
Find out all about
yeah.
all
Lady of the
about
Night.
Crazy crap.
oh,
done.
yeah.
the secrets.
But it's been a lot of fun. I know you're going to be sitting down with us as well.
Yeah. If
and
you'll have me.
we will definitely have you. I have a ping pong table in our basement as well. So
Uh-oh.
that's the other way. I'll beat you with that.
Probably.
But at home podcast.net, and you can get it wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Podcast. Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, bud.
Thank
Well, thanks so
you.
much for coming, guys. It's been a ton of fun. As always, guys, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to send your questions at asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K. Feel free to give us 5 stars. You can save your 4, 3s, 2s, and 1s at home.
I would have given you a 6-star if I could.
Oh, God, you're the
Or 10.
best. Because we both can't spell. Thanks so much, guys. And always, guys, thank you for listening. We will see you on Monday.